We'll keep it moving. Welterweight bout here. Song Kenan coming in at plus 125 against Kevin Jousset. Sitting at minus 155. Over under 1.5 rounds. Minus 240 for the over. Plus 200 for the under. Kevin Jousset making his sophomore outing here against Song Kenan, who's 33 years of age, and it has racked up a good amount of UFC fights. Kenan was, probably happy to be fighting in his home region. But nonetheless, he's fighting at the Apex. And Jousset making the trip over from New Zealand. You see the France flag, but he trains at City Kickboxing with Israel Adesanya and the gang. But what are you thinking on this one?
Yeah, I was shocked to see that Song Kenan was the underdog in this fight. You can't really tell me Kevin Jousset comes into the UFC and beats Kiefer Crosby. Kiefer Crosby is not a UFC level fighter. We saw that on the UFC or on UFC 293 when they fought. And then you look at Song Kenan, he just beat Rolando Bedoya, who showed in his debut against Chaos Williams that he looked pretty legit and took Chaos Williams to deep waters, and a lot of people thought he won that fight. He looked a lot better than Chaos in that fight. And I thought he proved to everybody watching at home that he was going to be a high-level fighter if he kept on that track. And Song Kenan just put on a clinic against him, in my opinion. He, landed a ton of leg kicks, ate the leg kicks, was able to hurt him on the feet, had him wobbled throughout the fight, and he looked really, really good. Scored a knockdown on him. And in his fight before that, he lost to Ian Gary in the third round by TKO. But if you remember in that first round, absolutely smoked Gary. Gary looked like he was out cold until he hit the mat and kind of woke up and then got saved by the bell, if I remember right. But, you go from that to Kevin Jousset. I just don't see how he's the underdog here, especially in a fight where, if Song keeps it on the feet, he's going to compete with everybody. He's got great power. I don't think Jousset's fought anybody with that precision and power yet. And I think it's going to be a very good fight for one. And I don't know. I had to hammer Song Kenan as the underdog going into this fight so far. I think he gets it done here. He's a very strong dude, too. It's not like Jousset's going to be able to come in here and grapple him up this whole entire fight or anything. Song Kenan does only have a 62% takedown defense, but he has a lot of fights, and that's over a larger sample size, too. So there's fights where he stuffs a lot of takedowns. There's some where he is getting taken down a few times. But he can find the takedowns himself. He took Gary down twice in their fight. Other than that, he's not out there getting wrestled up by everybody.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Jousset, coming off the win over Kiefer Crosby, he's like maybe why he's the favorite here, but I don't really put too much stock into that. Like Kiefer Crosby's not really UFC level. And Song Kenan has, gotten more UFC experience. He's gotten better UFC wins. I just don't really see why he's the underdog here either. Song Kenan trains out of Team Alpha Male. Looks like he's been in Thailand as well. And the thing that scares me about Song Kenan is he's not super high volume, but he was still able to overcome that in his last fight. And he got outlanded by almost 40 significant strikes to Rolando Bedoya, but he landed the knockdown, landed more significant strikes. And or landed the more significant strikes, not number wise, but the more significant punches. And I think he could do a similar thing here. He could even look to not wrestle him up, but just wear on him, because Kevin Jousset does have some good judo. He's got some good judo throws. We'll have to watch out for that. But Jousset mainly a kickboxer, and he even got outlanded by Kiefer Crosby. He ended up going for the takedown and got the sub. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Song Kenan being the underdog here is the play. He'll be the pick for me. Kevin Jousset didn't show me anything in the first fight that's like, oh, my God, this guy's going to be, a killer by any means. And putting him up against Song Kenan as the favorite just doesn't make sense to me. So, Song Kenan will be the pick.